Hello, and welcome back to Freedom from Fire. During these quite strenuous times, managing social distancing and making sure that we continue to follow appropriate safety guidelines, Freedom from Fire will continue to embrace the digital style via Zoom. We strive consistently, as always, to bring you valuable and relevant content as well as information to our viewers, as well as providing our amazing interviews. For this episode, we will introduce the Philadelphia Fire Department's newest deputy commissioners. So please stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I will be your host, Lieutenant Lisa Desamour. I'm currently stationed in our department's Fire Prevention and Code Division, where community risk reduction efforts are a very much primary goal. However, shortly I will be transferring to our department's planning unit, but do not fret. We have a very capable member in our department who will be taking over the lead. Here at Freedom from Fire, we aim to improve your quality of living by giving you fire and life safety information. And we also introduce you to our local safety partners. On this episode, we will meet the Philadelphia Fire Department's newest deputy commissioners, Jeffrey Thompson and Anthony Hudgins. Deputy Commissioner Hudgins and Deputy Commissioner Thompson have 27 and 32 years respectively of both operational and administrative experience in the Philadelphia Fire Department, which, for those of you that may not be aware, is the 5th largest department in our nation. Deputy Commissioner Thompson oversees the planning sections, and Deputy Commissioner Hudgins oversees the logistics sections. Thank you, commissioners, so much for taking this time with us today for this interview. Previously, Deputy Commissioner Thompson mentioned waiting and anticipating coming on our show. So very happy to have you both again here with me today. First, as I always start off with, and whoever wants to answer first, by all means, just jump in there. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your roles here in the Philadelphia Fire Department.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for having us, Lise. This is a pleasure. I was on this show once before when I was down at your level with fire prevention, and I enjoyed it then, and it's nice to see it still continue on to today. So I am Deputy Commissioner Anthony Hudgins. I'm in charge of the logistics for the fire department, which includes overseeing our fiscal office, our human resources department, our fire communications systems, our center, the Philadelphia Training Academy, technical services unit, health and safety office, and a recruitment unit. I've been around for 27 years, as you mentioned earlier today, and I know you have many, many more questions, so I won't give it to you all right now.
Okay. You'll spread it out evenly. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure. So, Jeff, you're up.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Desamour, for having me on. I've been watching Freedom from Fire for quite some time, and I'm glad it's finally my opportunity to be a part of the program. As Chief Hudgins spoke about earlier, I am newly appointed to the position of CAR 4, which is the Deputy Commissioner of Planning. And some of the units that fall under me are Fire Prevention and Code, GIS, Fire Marshal's Office, amongst others. Just a little bit about me, as you mentioned earlier, I have 32 years of experience with the fire department. I'm one of those people who is living their dream, and that is I've always wanted to be a firefighter. For those who do not know, my father was a firefighter with the city for 25 years, all of that with Engine 55 on the B platoon. So I am following in my father's footsteps, and I've been enjoying every moment of it.
That's amazing. amazing. No, I didn't know that. I'm sure a lot of us were not aware of that. So thank you. I appreciate you, Chief, for sharing that with us. So I will ask, you were promoted December 2021. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll take this one first, Chief.
Okay.
December the 15th, 2021, Chief Hudgins and I were appointed to the position of Deputy Commissioner, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind ever since. I have to add, Chief Hudgins and I are neighbors, but during the course of the day, I'm talking about in the office. And during the course of the day, we very seldom get a chance to see each other because we stay pretty busy.
Okay. And so the transition you would then describe as being pretty busy, as an understatement, I'm sure.
That is quite the understatement. There's quite a steep learning curve with this. In all of my prior positions, it was mostly operational with a bit of administrative tasks mixed in. This job is all administrative. So it's the focus of the work is different. So there has been quite the learning curve, but my colleagues have been very supportive.
Awesome. Chief Hudgins?
Yes, I would say the same for Jeff. We're very busy. The transition has been roller coaster ride. You know, it's like being starting a brand new job. Although we have 27 and 32 years respectively on the job, it's a brand new position. Being in the field or operations, we've grown up that way. And myself, I've been on staff as well in the field, probably about an equal amount of time, but never at this level. You know, Lisa. Okay. So it's been a roller coaster ride to think that you know something and you really don't. But Jeff and I, we both are committed to learning the answers, putting our fresh ideas, a fresh approach to the fire service, and helping to get our men and women the tools they need to be successful as a department.
Okay. And I will never forget that date because December 15th is my birthday. So I will always be the first one to congratulate you on your anniversary dates.
Well, happy late birthday. And
thank you.
I'll get that date either. So there you go.
Okay. So is Deputy Commissioner what you envisioned for yourselves when you entered the department? What were your goals then? Has it transitioned? Has it changed? Are you seeking higher sites?
Coming in as a recruit, I came from the corporate world almost, you know. So being a firefighter, unlike Jeff, was not on my radar. It was not on my radar. And by going through that journey as a firefighter, I absolutely loved being a firefighter. I absolutely loved it. But the drive inside me wouldn't let me stay as the rank of firefighter. Okay. So then I became a lieutenant, you know, and I love being a lieutenant. I did. I love being a captain and so far and so forth. And right now I'm really enjoying being Deputy Commissioner of Logistics. So where do I go from now? From here? I don't know, Lisa, because I'm enjoying what I do now as well and equally as what I've done in the past.
Okay. And Chief Thompson?
So, like Chief Hudgins, I thoroughly enjoy this job. I feel like in my 32 years that I've never really had to go to work every day because I've always enjoyed what I do. As far as goals and aspirations, when I became a firefighter, becoming a deputy commissioner definitely was not on my radar. It's such a lofty goal, and it's an incredibly long way from where I began to where I am today. So for me, initially, I just wanted to be the best firefighter that I could be. And that meant being well-rounded, you know, and all facets of it. And but like Chief Hudgins, you quickly, well, I won't say quickly, but at some point in your career, you realize that you actually have something to give back. I was told by a battalion chief something that I'll never forget. He gathered a bunch of us together at Engine 50, and he said, listen, you guys are at the point in your careers where you actually have something to give back. You've gained knowledge and experience, and you can actually give that back by being a lieutenant. That's what inspired me to study. And once I became a lieutenant, I just continued my professional development and studying, and it led me to here. But never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would be a deputy commissioner of Philadelphia Fire Department.
Awesome. I appreciate both answers very much. What I would ask you then next, Chief Thompson, because both of you mentioned how you are loving your roles, what would you say you're enjoying most about your role?
That's an interesting question because every day here is very challenging.
Okay.
When people ask me about it, I tell them that I can, I spend an hour working on this project and then I pivot and I spend an hour working on something else. So it's constantly changing. But the thing for me that I enjoy the most so far is the opportunity to interact with so many different people, different city agencies. So I'm meeting people, department heads of other city agencies, as well as people across the country I have an opportunity to interact with. And ultimately, the driving force, or what makes it really exciting, is the fact that you actually get a chance to make change. So those are the things that I really enjoy the most.
Chief Hudgins, what would you say?
It's hard to add anything more to what Chief Thompson said.
Okay.
It's all of those things, and just being busy and the diversity of the work itself. It's so much to absorb, and I just love being busy and learning new things, as well as still teaching while helping. And again, and everything that Chief Thompson said.
Okay, so then let's turn that coin and flip it. And then on the opposite end, we'll say, what would be your greatest challenge during the transition?
I think the challenge is that for me, I have this drive to want to know now. I want to know everything now. And so the challenge is to slow myself down, to allow others around me to absorb me and allow myself to absorb them. In the field, everything happens so fast on a fire ground. You make decisions right away and you can change right away. But here and on staff, it's more methodical. Not that it's not methodical out there, but it's more of a slower pace to turn the wheel here. And so to absorb that new environment, that was probably my greatest challenge, absorbing the new environment.
Chief Thompson, what would be yours?
That is a great question. First and foremost, just the steep learning curve. Probably coming into this, we really had to hit the ground running. I've been involved in a lot of projects that have been underway for years, literally. And so I had to step into those projects. And for instance, there are a lot of IT projects coming down the pike. And I had to step into that to help manage some of those projects. And I had to learn about those projects, some of the technology involved. So really trying to step into the breach, so to speak, and get up to speed very quickly. And it's a steep learning curve. Again, as Chief Hudgins said, both of us coming from primarily operational roles to now it being pretty much all administrative. So it's been a steep learning curve in that regard, and just trying to get up to speed on all of the different units that I supervise. So that's been the toughest part for me.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering the first round of questions, I'll say. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll keep this awesome conversation going. So please stay tuned.
As birthplace to the first volunteer fire companies, Philadelphia is home to one of the nation's premier fire museums. Fireman's Hall Museum displays the city's fire history in addition to promoting fire safety. You can visit Fireman's Hall Museum in Old City at 147 North 2nd Street. Visit firemanshallmuseum.org to learn more, or watch the museum's show, Curator's Corner, on LaSalle TV.
Welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Lieutenant Lisa Desamour. We are talking to Deputy Commissioners Hudgins and Thompson about their new roles in the Philadelphia Fire Department. Deputy Commissioner Thompson, I'll direct this question to you. You received a Bachelor of Science degree in Emergency Management from Jefferson University. Can you tell us how that particular program and your collegiate education in general prepared you for leadership here in the department?
That's a good question. Jefferson University, formerly Philadelphia University, as I like to refer to it as. Uh, at every step of my development, education was really important. And I would encourage everyone to continue the pursuit of their education, their professional development. Philadelphia University, or Jefferson University in particular, the program that I studied under, uh, it really expanded my horizons. Instead of looking specifically at operational things that we do typically in the city of Philadelphia, it really was broad in terms of what we looked at. We looked at managing very large scale events, hurricanes, flooding, disasters, things like that. And what was really helpful with that program was the fact that the instructors were all people who were actually in the industry,
Okay.
as were a lot of my classmates as well. So we really learned a lot from each other as we went through that experience. So first and foremost, just pursuing education and growth really aided my growth and development. But being in that environment where I was able to interact with people that are in the industry really helped to prepare me for this role.
And that's awesome, especially when you get to connect with like-minded individuals locally and even nationally as well.
Exactly. We actually have a network, and a lot of us stay in contact, and we can bounce ideas and things off of each other. So, creating and maintaining that network was really important and helpful as
Awesome.
well.
Awesome. Deputy Commissioner Hudgins, you became a registered nurse after you became a Philadelphia firefighter. What led you down that path, and how has that informed your career or aided your career here in the Philadelphia Fire Department?
So, Lisa, you're right. I became a nurse after I got on the job. And like Chief Thompson said, education is so important. It's important for knowledge, but it's also important for experiences. You meet so many different people. So I became a firefighter, and in academy, we all have to become EMTs. And my first run as an EMT, unfortunately, we had what we call a code blue. And the person did not make it, unfortunately. And that impacted me hard. It really did. Reason being, it was on my birthday, that first time. And I just felt a calling that I needed to do more. What can I learn more? And so I went to nursing school. It was much longer story than that. My sisters and it's a little longer story, but that was the most impactful thing.
Okay.
And how has it formed my career? We have EMTs, paramedics on the job, and as a firefighter and having that nursing degree, it allowed me to connect with them more. I understand the difficulties of their jobs, and I also have a greater understand of mechanism of injuries and different pathogens, and I'm able to speak to the EMS side more fluently than if I had not had that background.
And that's awesome to be able to, cultivate that type of relationship with EMS here in the department. I think that's pretty cool. And I really appreciate you sharing, how that impacted you on your birthday. So I thank you for that as well, Chief.
Sure.
You both served as instructors here at the Academy as deputy chiefs as well in the SIO's office. So tell us how those unique experiences have added to your knowledge base and your current line of work, your roles.
So yes, that is correct. The prior two SIOs were in consecutive order, Chief Hudgins, followed by me. So that's a pretty interesting fact right there. Being an instructor was an incredible experience for me, as well as being the SIO in different ways. In both capacities, you interact with people at different levels. It's an opportunity to show empathy, to gain, to understand some of the things that people are going through, as well as an opportunity to teach in both positions. As the department's disciplinarian, part of my approach was to ensure that people could get something positive from that experience, and absolutely as an instructor in the academy. So both of those experiences were extremely unique and beneficial to my career in terms of just dealing with people overall. So that's helped me quite a bit.
Oh, that's a pretty interesting perspective, and a really good perspective. Thank you, Chief. Chief Hudgins?
Sure. So, Lisa, I believe I was your instructor in the academy,
You
which
asked.
was so. I would say during the process, it was really fun. A lot of fun for me. I was able to take what I've learned and instill some of that knowledge onto the next generation. And it's absolutely a pleasure now when I see people like yourself that are going through the rank and climbing the ranks. And I think some of your classmates have even achieved the rank of battalion chief now, right?
That's
So,
correct.
and so it's absolutely a thrill for me then and still to watch them. That's what's really exciting for me. And as the SIO, it's necessary that we maintain discipline, and discipline is to maintain order. One of the things I would say to people that come through that process is that, and I got this from my grandmother. I can't take credit for it, but we can't go back and change whatever mishap may have happened, but we can control what we do going forward. So, similar to what Chief Thompson said, our role in there was to facilitate the members coming back to some kind of normality,
Okay.
and letting to know that there is always hope. There's always hope, no matter what happens out there, what rule you may have violated. Our job is to get you back to the person that we need you to be so we can serve the public most effectively.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Hudgins. Thank you, Chief Thompson. So we're getting a better perspective on you here in the department. How about outside of the department? Because I have very little, or our viewers have very little information of who you are personally. So what are you willing to share to members of the department and those who have interest in Freedom from Fire? Chief Hudgins, I'll start with you first. Who are you outside of the Philadelphia Fire Department?
Wow, you would start with me first, right? So outside the department, I am a married husband of many years. We have two grown sons who both live in California, San Diego. I'm very jealous. I am an avid angler, not fisherman, angler. I travel the world fishing.
Okay.
Most recently, I fished the Amazon River and in Brazil, and I was fishing in Alaska. And hopefully soon I will be fishing in Costa Rica. I just love the outdoors. I love the outdoors. Anything I can do with my hands, I'm really good at it. And most of all, I love helping people. And I know it sounds corny, but I do. I love helping people. I love making people smile. I start every day with a smile, and again, that would come from my mom and my grandmother.
And that's your signature, Chief, because I always see you smiling. And you're one of those folks that I don't know if you're having a bad day because, you got the smile. So, and that's pretty awesome. We talk about, you and fishing. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool.
Thanks, Lisa. There are no bad days. There are no bad days.
All right. I need to get that attitude quickly. Chief Thompson, who are you outside of the Philadelphia Fire Department?
So first and foremost, I am a father of two incredibly brilliant young ladies. Both of my daughters are in the medical field. My oldest daughter is a first-year resident out at the University of Chicago. Nice. So she's out there in Windy City. And my youngest daughter is in her third year of med school. So I'm not sure where they got that from, but so I'm a very, very proud father of two incredible young ladies. In terms of what I like to do, I am a cyclist. So,
nice.
Yes, when I have the opportunity, particularly on the weekends, I jump on my road bike and I wear my spandex. Yes, some people may have seen me on Main Street dressed like that, and I ride. In fact, I just returned from Tucson, Arizona, where I packed my bike up, put it on an airplane with about 15 of my friends, and we rode our bikes in Tucson, Arizona for a week. So that and going to the gym, those are the stress relievers of my life.
Okay.
So that's who I am. I encourage. I like to, like Chief Hudgins. I love interacting with people and encouraging. I like to share my life experience and provide mentorship when I can, particularly to young people. So that is a little peek into who I am.
Okay, I appreciate you both sharing. That sounds like a pretty cool experience in Arizona. Chief, I hear that the air out there is pretty dry, so I'm assuming that even though it's hot out there, it wasn't too bad of an experience.
You know what? It's a very unique climate.
Okay.
So this particular one ride we did one day, we rode up Mount Lemon, which is about 8,000 feet. So when we started, it was probably 70 degrees. At the top of the mountain, there was remnants of snow, and it was very cold. So, but yeah, that's traveling, riding my bicycle. Those are some of my passions.
Awesome. Awesome. I wish I had cool passions as well as my deputy chiefs, but I don't. My passion is taking naps and hanging with my fur baby and my kids bothering me, but that's all that wonderful stuff that we have going on in our family lives. Now, with all these wonderful extracurricular activities and hobbies, how would you say you balance that with your hefty roles here in the department?
Work-life balance is extremely important,
Very.
and that's something that I preach to everyone. The occupation that we have all chosen is very stressful. We deal with a lot of things, we see a lot of things, so it's important that you have a hobby, you have something that you can do to relieve some of that stress. I encourage everyone to find an outlet. One of the things that is important in achieving that work-life balance is finding someone that you can talk to about some of these experiences.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's hard to go home from work and talk about a bad day with your family because they just really don't understand. So I know for me, and probably is the case for most of us, having a really good core group of friends, people that you can bounce things off of, people you can talk to, someone who understands what you go through, and being able to transition sometimes putting some of those things that happen at work aside so that you can enjoy your family, so that they can enjoy you. That's very important.
Thank you, Chief. What would you add to that, Chief Hudgins?
Yeah, I think I would add to that. Make time for your family. Chief Thompson and I know Monday through Friday we are here. Sundays, because we are both new and because we are committed to this job and because we know it takes time, we're here late nights. But the weekends, I know it's time for my wife. So she gets to pull me in whichever way that she would like to pull me, shopping for groceries, shopping for clothes, whatever, and I get to say yes, dear, a lot. Which is great. Which is great with me. Which is great with me because I get time to spend time with my best friend, which is her.
Awesome.
So.
Thank you both so very much for joining me today. Hopefully in the future you'll join us again, and we'll have other talks, and we'll talk about other initiatives in the department that you guys are a part of. And again, I really appreciate both of you coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. If you would like to find out more about us on LaSalle TV, you can check out our social media sites. And if you are interested in learning about the Philadelphia Fire Department, visit our Facebook, Twitter, and web pages. Also, check out Fireman's Hall Museum, located at 147 North 2nd Street, and meet our museum curator, firefighter Brian Anderson. I would like to once again thank our guests for joining us today. I would also like to thank you, our viewers, for tuning in and watching. So until next time, remember, fire is everyone's fight, and remain free from fire.